What is up, beautiful travelers and explorers? I'm back with another new video, and this one is all about rules tourists keep breaking in Spain. So, if you're getting ready to visit the beautiful country of Spain, this video might be exactly what you need to see so you're not that tourist. Let's dive right in. When in doubt, it is always best to blend in versus standing out. And with that being said, let's get into our first rule tourists keep breaking in Spain, and that is all about greetings. Many tourists who visit Spain don't know about greetings, so let me tell you a little bit about this. In Spain, it is basic respect to give a saludo, which means greetings in English. And it's also how business is done. For example, if you were to walk into a cafe in Madrid, Spain during the morning time, you would say hola, buenos dias, which means hello, good morning. Alternatively, if it's the afternoon or evening time that you walk into this cafe, you would say hola buenas. This means good afternoon or good evening in English, and that is short for hola buenas tardes. If you want to be formal, you can say hola buenas tardes. I usually say hola buenas. And lastly, if you want to say good night, you would say buenas noches. And the last thing that I want to say about greetings in Spain is it's also equally important to also say goodbye. So if you are leaving a business in Spain, it's very common for people to say hasta luego, ciao, hasta ahora, or just ciao. But it's also very polite to say goodbye too. So keep that in mind. There are, of course, many tourist friendly businesses in Spain, but if you do want to blend in like the locals, I would highly recommend to greet when you enter and say goodbye when you leave businesses visiting Spain. And now that you know how to successfully greet in Spain, the next rule tourists keep breaking in Spain is all about not controlling the volume. Listen, the Spanish can be loud too, but there's a time and a place where you can and should be loud. First and foremost, if you're visiting anything of religion like a cathedral or a church and your voice is echoing, you're definitely being a little bit too loud. So in that case, just lower your volume. That's all you have to do is just tone it down and be mindful of your own volume. Lastly, another tip on being mindful of your own volume is when you're riding public transportation in Spain, be mindful of having your headphones in so you can listen to whatever you are listening to in private versus having everybody listen to your FaceTime call or whatever you're watching on social media. The next rule tourists keep breaking in Spain is letting themselves get pickpocketed. When you are traveling Spain, you definitely do not want to be caught slipping because if you do, guess what? You might have just lost your phone. Or even worse, your wallet and your passport. You definitely do not want to lose those things by a robbery. So here's exactly how to not get robbed in Spain. Pickpocketers in big Spanish cities such as Madrid and Barcelona are literally professional robbers, so you might think that you're a bit smarter than them, but you might not be. These things are what the locals do, so as I mentioned before, it's best to blend in than stand out. First and foremost, do not scream tourist. So if you have a lot of bags or a lot of backpacks, that might make you a prime target. So if you can, when you're traveling Spain and you're exploring the city, try to travel light and not be obvious. For example, if you are a robber and you like to pickpocket for a living, who would you target first? This or this? You would probably target this, right? It looks like a great target. So keep that in mind when you're traveling Spain to travel light so you can blend in versus standing out. If you are going to be traveling heavy for whatever reason and it's a must, there's no way to change it. I would highly recommend to do private situations for transportation, such as an Uber or a cab. You definitely do not want to be riding public transportation with a lot of cargo. And lastly, if you are lost in public, don't be obvious because that might attract pickpocketers. So, for example, don't be waving your phone up for Google Maps to have better signal. And don't be looking just super disoriented because that is going to scream tourists. If you do get lost in Spain, it's fine. It's just you don't want to attract more attention to yourself and possibly attract pickpocketers who target people who are disoriented and lost and have no idea what's going on around them. For you to not get pickpocketed, it's super important to know that pickpocketing happens in very chaotic and very tourist heavy areas. When you are in these tourist heavy or very populated areas, you do not want to have your phone or any valuables in your back pockets. If anything is in your back pocket, that is prime target for someone to come pickpocket you, and you do not want that. Next, watch for distraction scams. These are very common in Spain, and what basically happens is someone will come up to you, tell you they're lost, can you help me? And then another person will come and probably rob you from the side when you're paying attention to this person who's distracting you. If anyone approaches you and they're weirdly nice or very chaotic, like I'm lost, please help me, that is probably a distraction scam, and be very mindful and very aware of your surroundings. These distraction scams are very common in train stations and tourist attractions. The next tip on how to not get pickpocketed in Spain is to be very mindful when you are at restaurants and cafes what you are leaving on top of the table because that can be a prime target for someone to come up and just grab it or to distract you and then grab it when you're not looking. Lastly, do not show your valuables if you, for example, you are a photographer or you have one of the latest new mobile phones. And next, always have the zipper facing you. So if you have a purse, have the purse zipper facing you versus at the end of the purse, and someone could just easily zip and go into your purse and take whatever they have. Also, the same goes for a backpack or anything that is zipper. Make sure the zipper is always facing you versus the opposite. The next rule tourists keep breaking in Spain is not scheduling their day. And let me break this down a little bit further. And the reason why you want to schedule your day in Spain and do what the locals do is because there are many times you should be aware of if you're visiting Spain. So, with time coordinating and planning a trip to Spain, you definitely want to keep in mind the midday breaks for siestas and also that businesses open sometimes a lot later than your home country. So you can start scheduling your day in Spain by first planning where you want to go and then seeing their hours for when you can go visit. Next, another great tip for scheduling your day when you're traveling to Spain is to think about where you're going to go eat. Spain is very big with dining etiquette and has a tremendous food culture. So I would highly recommend checking out where you want to go eat in a restaurant, making a plan to make the reservation, and then just show up on your scheduled day. And the next rule tourists keep breaking in Spain is they are drinking and driving, and this is such a no go. Drinking and driving is a no go everywhere in the world, but in Spain, specifically in places like Ibiza, you will definitely get caught. And there have been people who have asked me, this is why I'm bringing it up, especially if you plan to go drinking and driving in Ibiza. That is like the worst idea ever. There are checkpoints everywhere. And when I mean checkpoints, I mean like there will be Spanish cops literally outside of the clubs doing breathalyzers and also doing drug tests. So, in case you think that I won't drink, I'll take drugs, that's also a terrible idea. Do not drive anywhere in the world under the influence, and definitely do not do it in places like Ibiza or anywhere in Spain. In Ibiza and in other parts of Spain, there are many ways to get a cab or many ways to get transportation. So definitely look into that. I would not recommend to drink and drive in Spain or anywhere. Your life is way too precious to put it at risk, and you also do not want to be endangering others with your decisions. The next rule tourists keep breaking when they visit Spain is all about wearing beachwear in public. And I'm not talking about a swimsuit cover up, I'm talking about full on bikini in a market. So in some places in Spain, specifically Barcelona, you'll get fined for wearing beachwear in public, but in other places in Spain, they won't necessarily fine you, but there are signs to cover up, but some people do not do it. Wearing swimwear in public, specifically in a supermarket, will make locals roll their eyes and they complain about it all the time. So I highly would recommend not to do it. Even if you have a great bum, nobody wants to see your butt cheeks in Mercadona. Sorry. So in short, wear a swimsuit cover up, wear a shirt, wear shoes, end of story with the beachwear in public. And the next rule tourists keep breaking when they visit Spain is expecting English to be widely spoken. The official language in Spain, in case you don't know, is Castellano or Spanish. So as you can see, the official language for Spain is not English, so it will not be widely spoken. The widely spoken and official language is Spanish, so it's very important when you come to visit Spain that you at least know a little bit of basic Spanish so you can make your trip easier, smoother, and not just that, also assist the people that work in these service industries by being able to communicate with them successfully. And this by no means that you need to be fluent in Spanish before you visit Spain, but what I am saying is a little bit of basic Spanish goes a long way and it will help you tremendously with communication. A little bit of Spanish, a little bit of patience goes a long way in Spain. And the next rule tourists keep breaking in Spain is tipping too much. This has actually become a very controversial topic, especially in Spain with foreign people, because they feel that many foreign people come to Spain, leave tips, and they're slowly gentrifying this and the dining experience. And Spanish people absolutely do not want that. So if you visit Spain and you feel like it was an incredible dining experience and you think that it was a tip well deserved, then leave a tip. But don't leave a 20% tip just because you're American and you're visiting Spain. That makes absolutely no sense and contributes to the mass tourism problem here and also contributes to the gentrification that many Spanish people think is going on with many foreign people visiting their country. You might be wondering why many Spaniards see tipping as gentrification, and the reason for this is because Spain has never been a tip-based economy. Workers who work in hospitality, such as waitstaff or bartenders in Spain, have set contracts with a proper salary and benefits. So, in short, in Spain, you're paid to do your job. You're not expected to live off of tips. Many Spanish people actually think that the American capitalistic model of getting paid only on tips is actually incredibly unfair and very exploitative. I cannot say I disagree, to be honest. Next, tipping creates a two-tier system, one for the locals, one for the tourists, and that's basically gentrification in action. In heavily touristed areas such as Madrid and Barcelona, tipping is becoming more expected, and that's mostly because tourists are bringing that culture in. and Spanish people, again, do not like that. And lastly, extra tipping can definitely drive up prices and widen inequality even more. And you might be thinking, why is this? So, when tourists start tipping 15 to 20%, restaurants sometimes raise base prices or adjust business models to expect that extra cash. It also incentivizes landlords and employers to cater more to foreigners than to local needs. So, all in all, tipping might feel generous, but it's part of the same ecosystem that leads to 18-euro avocado toast and rent prices that locals can't afford. So, in short, if you want to blend in and do what the locals do regarding tipping in Spain, I would round up or leave max 10% of the bill if you really like the service. And the next rule tourists keep breaking in Spain has everything to do with dining out, and this is that many tourists don't blend in with the hands off dining experience. And let me elaborate on this a little bit further. So, if you're American like me, it's very important to know that your waiter isn't going to come to your table every 2 minutes to make sure that you are okay. That's just not how it works in Spain and in Spanish restaurants. And the reason for this is because waiters do not work for tips the way servers do in the US. And also, the table is yours for as long as you want. That's why it's so important to make a reservation so the restaurants know how many tables are going to be occupied and to know what they need to cook. The biggest difference with that is in the US, they work for tips. And in the US, they try to have really quick table turnover because the more tables they have, the more money they make. And so they try to pretty much rush you when you're dining out. So quick, eat your meal, hurry up, give us a tip, and then on your way. And in Spain, it is not like that. Also, Spanish meals are very long and there's no time expectation of when a meal is going to be done. So, for that reason, you're not being rushed. Lastly, service in Spain is way more autonomous than in the US. So, you basically ask for when you need something. So, the next time you're in a Spanish restaurant waiting and you haven't been helped yet, don't get frustrated. Just say any one of these three things. The first one is perdona, which is excuse me. The second is cuando puedas, which means when you have a moment. Or lastly, disculpe, which is a polite excuse me. And don't fret in case you think this is rude. This is absolutely not. In fact, this is actually how many locals get waiters' attention in very busy Spanish restaurants. You also don't need to say perdona many times. It's just enough to get your waiter's attention. And once they notice you, they will come on over as soon as they can. Spain's absolutely amazing. I have so much love for this beautiful country. The food, the culture, the sunshine, you name it. I love it. If you're going to come to Spain, please come correct. Don't be the tourist locals roll their eyes at. Be the tourist that locals don't even know you're a tourist. Blend in as a tourist. Do not make yourself stand out. And with that being said, if you're traveling to Spain on a budget or if you're looking for ways to save money traveling Spain, be sure to check out this video next.